This is David Lukin with GrassFlap. Today we're going to be installing a GrassFlap onto a Bradley stand-on lawnmower. The tools that you're going to need are a 7/16 wrench, a 1/2 inch, maybe a couple 1/2 inch wrenches, and a 5/8 wrench. And then I'm going to be using a impact driver to do some of the work. You'll also need a pair of channel locks and a pair of cutters to clip off the wire tie. With that, let's get started. We've laid out the parts that we need for the GrassFlap itself so we can have access to them. First thing we need to do is remove the existing factory chute. Set the chute aside along with the bolts. Step number 2 is going to be to install the hinge plate as it comes out of the box. You'll be using 4 3/8 by 1 carriage bolts provided along with the nuts to go with it. You can run these nuts on, but you don't have to secure them super tight because we're going to be making an adjustment when we fit the blocker plate itself to the deck opening. So the next step then is to go ahead and attach the blocker plate. You'll use the 1/4 by 3/4 bolts provided in the kit. Again, no need to tighten these up until we get the blocker plate positioned where it needs to be. Now that those nuts are installed, go ahead and close the flap, position it forward back where it needs to be. Go ahead and tighten the 1/4 inch bolts, and you'll also want to go ahead and secure the bolts that attached the assembly to the mower deck itself. Next step is to connect the spring. After that, we're going to go to the back of the lawnmower and connect the hand lever itself. So you want to remove the nuts on the 2 rear bolts on the left side of the control tower. Now we'll position the hand lever in place onto those 2 bolts and reinstall the nuts that we just took off. Next, we'll want to remove the belt cover plate so that we can access the path for the cable itself. Now we have the cover removed, we're going to go ahead and place the cable roughly in place where we want it. Just make sure as you lay it in there that it's got a free path to follow with the deck up and in the down position. Then we're going to go ahead and connect the flap end of the cable to the GrassFlap itself. There's 2 jam nuts on here. You want to position the jam nuts somewhere about midway on the fitting as a starting point. Once those are in place, then the next step is going to be to connect the cable end, and this is the cable end with the fixed Clevis on it. We'll insert the small brass bushing, the 3/16 pin, as well as the cotter pin that comes with it. Be sure to install the pin with the head on the spring side. We'll insert the cotter pin and then go ahead and open up so it'll stay in place. With this done, we'll go ahead and snug the 2 jam nuts. Don't over tighten them, they just need to be snug a little bit. I'm going to go to the handle end, and we're going to first attach the fitting into the handle itself. So remove jam nut number 1, slide it in place, put jam nut 1 back on. You don't have to tighten this up at this point. We'll be making an adjustment a little bit down the road. Now we're going to put the removable clevis and connect the cable to the hand lever. So slip the removable clevis on, go ahead and position it onto the hand lever, take the 1/4-inch pin and insert it with the head on the outside, and then you'll install the cotter pin and bend the tabs on that. Now that we have those 2 ends connected, we're going to go ahead and loosely attach the cable itself to the crossbar on the mower deck. Keep it up out of the belts. The cable is stiff so that you don't have to worry about it being tied up all the way across. Then we're going to go ahead and lower the deck, make sure that there's no pinch points, places that the cable can be damaged. With that done, we'll reinstall the belt cover. Now we're going to go ahead and make final adjustments on the hand lever itself. What we want to do is make sure that the 2 jam nuts are loose. Then we'll want to pull on the cable itself to pull the hand lever forward. Once we get it pulled forward so it's in the front of the slot, we'll secure the jam nuts and go ahead and tighten them in place. We'll give the flap test operation here. So remember, it's a cycle pull and release of the hand lever that gets the flap to open, another pull and release that gets it to go closed. There are 2 midpoint positions that you can lock the flap in. So position number 1 was partial open, position number 2 was it almost half open. So here's our final assembly. Everything's in place, everything's operating smoothly.